And today we're going to listen to the story about one of his sons. You've probably heard about him. Anybody heard about Joseph? Yes, we're going to talk about Joseph today. So Joseph had 10 big brothers, yeah? But things are not going very well in the family. So let's find out what happened.
No, I don't, not in the hole. What? Where is this? This hole is bigger than I thought. Oh. My brothers just threw me in a hole. I was just coming to check on them because my dad Jacob said that he wanted me to go make sure they were okay. Well, and he was probably a little worried that maybe they were misbehaving because they like to do bad things when Dad's not around. But they saw me coming to check on them and they were like, "Here comes that dreamer, let's get him." And then they just grabbed me and they threw me down in this pit. This isn't fair. I mean, I can see how maybe they don't like me a little bit. Probably this is part of the reason. This is my nice new coat. My dad Jacob made it for me, and he didn't make one like these for anybody else. None of the other brothers got a nice one like I did. I think, actually, Daddy Jacob probably likes me a little bit more than the others, or at least he shows it more. And that's not so good. I mean, Daddy should love all of their kids the same. I would think that my Daddy Jacob would have realized that, since that was a problem with his parents. His mommy Rebecca liked Jacob more, and then his daddy Isaac liked Esau more, and that's why they ended up in a lot of trouble too. But now Dad likes me, and he made me a nice coat, and my brothers, well, they got jealous, and I can't help that. It's not my fault my dad wants to give me nice stuff. I don't know. I could have just ignored them and not told Dad about the bad things that they do, but sometimes I would see them doing bad things, and I would get so worried for them because I knew that wasn't right. They weren't doing what God would want. They weren't treating people the right way. They were living the right kind of lives. So then I would tell Dad, not because I wanted them to get in trouble, because I wanted Dad to help them change. I wanted Dad to help them follow God's path again, not the bad path of following Satan. Nothing good ever happens when we follow Satan's path. But they would blame me for that too, and they'd be like, "Oh, they went and tattletaled on us again." And then, of course, I had those dreams, which is probably why they call me the dreamer now. But it's not my fault either. I think God gave me those dreams. He gave me a dream about like the sun and moon and 11 stars all bowing down to me. And he gave me another dream where there was like all of these tall sheaves of grain that my brothers and I were putting together in the field, and all my brothers' sheaves of grain bowed down to my sheaf of grain. And when I told my family about it, well, my brothers got angry. They were like, "You're not the oldest one. We're never going to bow to you. You think you're our king or something?" No, I don't think I'm their king. It's just that God gave me those dreams. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it must mean something. I hope they mean something. Because it sure doesn't feel like anything good is happening right now. I wonder if God is still paying attention to me here. I mean, I'm in a pit. A deep, dark hole. This is not fair. I didn't do anything to deserve this. You know, one time my dad, Jacob, he told me that he was in a situation kind of like this. He had gotten in trouble for lying to his brother and his dad, and then he was running away, and he stopped somewhere, and there was a rock. And he had a dream by that rock of a ladder coming down from heaven, and then the voice of God saying, "I am with you, and I'll be with you no matter where you go." Boy, I wish I could have a dream about a ladder right now. That'd be good. I just wish I could have a ladder right now, actually. That'd be just fine. I could climb out of this pit. Oh, although my brothers are up there. I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll be happy to just throw me in this hole for a while and, just get a little revenge, and then maybe they'll take me out and everything will be fine. But I heard some of them talking about how, there's a road nearby here, and there's caravans of camels and donkeys that go by, And the traders that ride on those, they come from faraway countries, and they go to other faraway countries, and they often take slaves with them, like people who got sold or stolen away from their families, and they take them to far places like Egypt. And I heard some of my brothers saying, well, maybe we could get some money from a trader for him. If they sell me and send me away to Egypt, that's so far away, I don't know if I could ever get back here. I would never see my dad again. My youngest brother, Benjamin, oh, he and I are so close. I love him so much. God wouldn't let me get sent to Egypt, would he? That just doesn't seem right. I mean, he did say he'd be with my daddy Jacob wherever he went. Would he be with me too? Do you think, boy, can God keep those kind of promises? I don't know. Uh-oh, I hear them talking back there by the mouth of the pit again. Sounds like they're getting a rope to let down there or something. Okay, maybe they're just sending me some water, or maybe they'll let me go. I really hope so. I don't want to go as a slave anywhere.
So now we're going to leave the pit and we're going to jump forward several years. And we're still looking like it's a dark, dungeony place, but we're not in a pit anymore. Maybe this could be a prison. And let's see what happened to Joseph.
Okay, now after I get the food delivered. Oh, you guys again. I haven't seen you in a while. Well, it's not the pit anymore, but it still feels like the pits. I'm in prison, and it's not even a prison like near home. I'm in prison in Egypt. Remember I was telling you I was hoping my brothers wouldn't sell me? Well, they did. And they got some money, and they took my coat too. My nice coat that my dad made. And then they sold me to these guys. I couldn't even understand what they said. And they tied me up and threw me on a camel, and we went riding off across the desert and ended up here in Egypt. You know, along the way, I was so scared and so nervous, and I was starting to wonder if like God had just totally left me, if he had just forsaken me forever. But then, you know what I thought? I thought, you know, God made a promise to be my dad Jacob, even though my dad Jacob had been lying and like cheating, and he wasn't doing nice things, was my daddy Jacob back then? No. So I had been trying to do right things. So certainly God would be by me too, right? Even though he hadn't come to me and made me a promise or anything, I thought, you know what? I'm going to just trust God. I'm going to trust that he's going to work this out, and someday I'll understand what this is all about. So then we got here, and we got to Egypt, and I was really scared because then they were going to sell the slaves, and they made us all line up. We had to stand up one at a time, and people would come and pay money for us. But the guy who bought me was actually, well, first of all, he was really rich, and second of all, he was really nice. I mean, you know, we still had to be like careful to obey. I couldn't like, you know, I couldn't do anything wrong, otherwise he would like beat us and stuff. But you know, I always did the right thing. It's like God could help me to just make the right choices. And this guy, his name was Potiphar, my master, my new master. He realized I was doing such a good job. He even made me like in charge of his whole house, and it was great. And I thought, you know, this is so bad. Maybe this is why God sent me here. And then it was not so great because his wife got mad at me about stuff and lied about me, and then he threw me in this prison. So then I was in the prison, and I was like, oh man, there's no way that this is going to work out well. But you know what? I'm going to have faith. I'm going to keep on doing what I think God would want me to do. I'm going to make the right choices. I'm not going to do like my daddy Jacob did. You know, my daddy Jacob, he would lie and cheat and do all sorts of things just to try to make God's plans turn out right. He and Grandma Rebecca thought, oh, we need to try to trick things into happening the way God wants. But I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do my best, whatever I think God would want me to do. And so I started doing that in the prison too. I was helping my other prisoners, and I was trying to look out for people, and I started coming up with ideas how to make the prison better. And you know, pretty soon I got put in charge of the prison, just like Potiphar put me in charge of his house. And so now I'm actually like, I'm in charge of like, you know, getting all the meals ready and helping people solve their problems here. And when new prisoners come, I greet them. There were actually a couple of new prisoners that had come in, about 2 years ago, and they were like really, boy, they really didn't belong in this kind of prison. They worked in the king's palace. One of them was the butler, one of them was the baker. They were like special trusted servants to the king. He got mad at them and threw him in the prison. Anyhow, it's a long story, but the point is, I was friends with them, just like I try to be friends with everybody in this prison, and I helped them out because they had some dreams, and God helped me interpret their dreams, and the dreams came true. And the butler, he ended up going back and working for the king. And you know what? The butler promised me he would tell the king about me, so that the king could forgive me and get me out of this prison. Except that was 2 years ago. So I guess the butler forgot about me. And I thought God had it all worked out. The butler would get me out of here by talking to the king, and it hasn't happened. But you know, once again, I'm just going to choose to have faith. God's not left me alone, and God's going to work it all out. And even if I can't figure it out right now, even if my brain can't see it right now, someday I'll be able to see why all this happened. I know it. I just know it. I'm just going to trust God for that. Because God is going to keep his promises. I got to go finish getting some things in the kitchen, guys. I'll see you in a little while.
Right, and now we jump several more years ahead. And we're by a wall in Egypt. A wall that's close to the borders of Egypt. And let's see what has happened to Joseph.
We're going to get here. Come on. Oh, you guys again. Oh, I love how you guys pop up when big things are happening. Listen, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. Actually, it's been, about 10 years since the last time we met. I probably look different now. I sure have better clothes. And I look like an Egyptian now, actually, because I've been living in Egypt for so long. And you guys wouldn't believe everything that happened since I last saw you in the prison, but I'll try to shorten it down for you. Basically, God kept his promises. God showed me why all of this happened. You guys, God sent me to Egypt on purpose. See, after I was in the prison and the butler went back to work for the king again and forgot all about me, the king had dreams, and the butler remembered me, and he said, I know a guy in prison who can interpret your dreams, king, because the king was really worried about these dreams. The king called for me. I came. I told the king, my God can interpret your dreams, and God did. God helped me tell the king that his dreams were warning him about a famine. A famine's when there's not going to be any food because there's not going to be any rain, and all the crops will die. And I told him, in 7 years, a famine's going to come. We have 7 years to get ready. And the king said, well, then you get it already. You're in charge. I got put in charge, second in command of the whole country. And I was able to help everybody grow all their extra crops, get them into the storehouses, save their things, so that when the famine came, we'd be ready. And during that time, I almost forgot about my family. I was so busy getting ready, but I didn't forget about them the day that they showed up. Yeah. My 10 brothers, the ones who had grabbed me and thrown me into that pit, the ones who are the reason that I ended up here in Egypt, they showed up here in Egypt too. They weren't looking for me. They didn't even think about me. They just came because they heard we had food. The only reason we had food was because God had worked out all of their bad plans and turned them into good plans. And now there was food to feed even my family far, far away. But I didn't tell them it was me right away. Because I thought, I want to see if God has changed them too. God has changed me. He's helped me to have just greater and greater faith. He's helped me to trust him and believe he'll always be there. But has he changed my brothers who are mean, who are always doing naughty things and then getting angry at people who are doing the right thing? So I put him through a little test. I didn't tell them it was me. They didn't even recognize me. And I tested them. I even said, bring your youngest brother Benjamin back with you the next time. And when they brought him, I said, I'm going to keep him as my slave. You guys can all go back to Israel, to Canaan, and I'll keep him as my slave. But they wouldn't do it this time. This time they didn't want to get rid of a brother and let him be a slave. They didn't want to get rich off of him. They loved him now. And they said, no, we won't let you keep him as a slave. Please, 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 take one of us instead. And that's when I knew God had changed them too. They're following God's path now. They're not following the bad paths of Satan. They're making good choices. Oh, then I couldn't help it. I started crying. I was so happy. And they were like, why is this big rich man crying? And then I told them, it's me. It's Joseph. Oh, they were just going to fall right over. Their mouths were hanging open. Their eyes were as big as softballs. They were like, oh, Joseph? And they thought I was going to get revenge on them and throw them in prison or have them executed. But no, I wouldn't do that. God loved me. God loved them. He made it all work out. I told them there's no reason to be scared, but go and get my dad, because dad is still alive too. You guys, I thought my dad Jacob would have died by now. He's still alive. And you know what? they're all going to move back here. They're all moving back to Egypt. And when they move back here, the king has promised he's going to give them the best part of Egypt, some of the best pasture lands for growing crops and raising animals. They're going to live right here. None of this would have happened if God hadn't been in control of the plans. Even though my brothers thought they were doing the meanest thing they could do, it all turned out right. And that proves it, guys. God keeps his promises. God never leaves you. God never says, well, you're on your own now. I'm so glad that he was with me all this time. And I'm glad that he helped me to have faith that he would leave, that he would be with me. I'm so glad I didn't give up on God. The only thing that's a little weird to me, guys, is that you remember my great-grandpa Abraham? No. Yeah, great-grandpa Abraham. You remember my great-grandpa Abraham? Well, he came to that country of Canaan because that's where God led him. That's where God said he was going to be and that his family would grow up there. And now we're all moving to Egypt. Like all of us. There's nobody left in Canaan now who is a family member of great-grandpa Abraham. But you know what? I have faith because God made a promise. He said that that country, that land of Canaan would be Abraham's family and it would belong to them and they would grow up there. So I don't know how long we'll be here in Egypt. I don't know how long my family and I will be here, but I have faith. God's going to keep that promise too. And someday he'll get us back out of Egypt here and move us back to Canaan. You guys just watch and you're going to see how that happens too. But don't forget, God loves you. He keeps his promises and he will never leave you. I hear the chariots coming. I think there's Dad Jacob coming now. I got to go get ready for him. Bye.